drugs,
Finally,
alcohol, carbs. Oh my!
You said it wouldn't be done. You said we'd never do a tavern talk without Tyler. Well, fuck that guy. He fell into a well and both his shoes came off and he farted on the way down.
Oh man!
It was just
Dang.
like that. Yeah, Tyler, cut to the audio of you because you were recording. That's fine. Sunny day
Oh
of
God!
walking.
Since Tyler's not here, can we just make this an editing nightmare for him?
Tyler, quick, bird sounds. Lots of bird sounds.
I feel like we do anyway.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a lot of Tyler just chiming in. No, I won't be doing that.
I like that you think he
Tyler, please do that.
far.
Tyler, if you don't do that,
welcome to pull on up. I put my eye on the. pull your eyes on up to the chair and sit them down.
Open
Take
eyes,
a with your
sit
ears,
eyes.
which are the eyes of the head. You know, the ears are the eyes of sound.
Oh my God, everything is
welcome
sound.
to This impromptu tavern talk / planning some stuff while we're having this kind of interim recording
Yeah.
stuff. No one's a host here because Tyler's not here. The boys
We're
are
all
running
the hosts.
wild. Jeremy's got a Red Bull at 7:43 at night.
I'm not going to go to sleep for hours still.
I do that. I'll drink
That's
like
just
2
classic
cups of coffee,
Jeremy.
and I'm like, at least I didn't drink a Red Bull today. And then it's 2 a.m. and I'm like, why am I not asleep?
Everybody knows the motto. Sleep is for the weak.
Exactly right. No,
Oh,
but
Damn, I'm weak
we
as
thought we'd
fuck,
just shoot
boy.
the shit a little bit.
I'm so fucking
kind of a
weak.
kind of a shorter one because Matt's got a heart out. He's got to go.
Mhm.
I gotta go
You
feed
got to go to
4
the gates
dogs.
of hell and give Cerberus his cartoon steak, his big old cartoon slab of meat.
Yeah, and just as a bit of like I guess kind of look into what we're
There's gonna
doing
be a fun little.
is we're kind of just talking while we're like getting stuff ready for a recording that we're going to make tomorrow and come out at some point.
Yeah, not at your tomorrow.
And Tyler won't be
Whenever
there
you're-
either. Fuck him.
Nope.
Whenever you're listening to this, Tyler won't be there, and it won't be the tomorrow we mentioned. It's not the tomorrow we promised.
I'll make a character for Tyler just to kill him in the first scene.
Oh, please.
A young lad. Tra-la-la-la.
Make it a variant
It's my
of
4th
hemorrhoid.
birthday.
A hemorrhoid variant.
Several ice cream chucks flatten this poor boy.
Let's see. Hemorrhoid. Let's see. Heimlich.
Who's Heimlich? Is hemorrhoid's human alter ego Heimlich?
Rip Heimlich.
I just picture it's just like a chibi version of Tyler in Lederhosen. Nothing else though. No shirt, no shoes, no anything. Just Tyler fully in Lederhosen, just trolling. Maybe he's got a lollipop or one of those spinny hats, but that's about as far as that goes. And he's just very cherubic, big red cheeks, smiling, and then several ice cream trucks just cartoonishly flatten him to death.
Oh my God. I love that.
But yeah, Jeremy, let's give a I guess you can give a little sneak peek to the people of like what you told us while we're still kind of in the process of making characters. What's a bit of the old? Because you said something about the Gatsby. I'm sorry,
it's gonna be
this right? Grits
the great
Gatsby,
the great Gordlesby,
the Grabapsby,
the Babadook Apsby,
Grapples.
It's I wanted to
Babadook
do
sleep apnea,
like a combination of like the Great Gatsby with like the classic like murder mystery thing.
Who done it? Glass onion.
Yeah.
Anybody?
So
yes.
All my glass onion heads. Where are my glass onion heads at?
It's just dumb.
Where's my?
It's
Monsieur Blanc.
Monsieur
Blanc.
Monsieur
Blanc. Oh,
I do
glass
declare,
onion. Got it.
A knife is best used at the dinner table.
Now, granted, it is going to have a wonderful spin, which means it will be terrible.
No, a wonderful spin is it's a spit shine. People don't talk about this enough. I don't ever want someone to spit shine anything I own.
No.
Can I just say?
Wait, hold on. That's not true. Your penis.
We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. As much as I'm a dirty little nasty boy, we're not going to do this. But I know what you're saying. I picked up what you were putting down. I smelled what you were stepping in. But to be fair and to be clear, there's only a handful of things some people would like spit shined. And one of those things doesn't mean anything I purchased. None of the purchased items I own in my home. Please don't spit on my child.
God.
he does that mom thing where he licks his thumb and is wiping dirt off Simba's forehead. Let me get that.
Man, if anybody spits on Ridley, I will literally murder them.
I'll lose it. I'll lose my mind.
Literally
I'm
murder
sorry.
them.
Something took a hold of me. I picked up my child by her ankles and I beat you with her.
That would be the cutest death.
No,
Like,
I'd actually go the opposite way. I think I fully agree to like the if you lick it, you own it thing. Like if you walk up to my dog and just like lick it.
Don't get me started on it. Do you remember that
trend?
trend? I don't know if you guys are chronically online like I am, but that trend
always.
of people going into grocery stores and licking the tops of ice creams
Oh,
and putting them back.
Yeah.
If I found out, like I'm just eating ice cream ignorantly at this point, because if I found out, and I think that's why most of the little pints now are sealed. They didn't used to always have like a paper on them now.
Yeah.
And now they have it. I promise you, if I can, I've got the eyes of a sleuth. I've got the heart and eyes of a boy detective. And if I see even the remotest little bit of a tongue print or a swipe, even if it was like, oh, I saw a hair there and you wiped it with your thumb, I'll cross any sort of DNA references. I'll do the CIA. I'm just at a computer and I'll find you and I'll make you eat every bit of that ice cream right in front of me.
Oh my God.
Every bit of it.
Good.
Also, side note, Young Boy Detective is my favorite indie hipster band.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a dope rap.
That's pretty good.
TM. That's my rap name now. Young Boy Detective.
Young
oh my
Boy
God,
Detective.
that's so cool. That's good.
That's real good.
And your first album, Encyclopedia Brown. Oh my God.
You're genuinely doing
One of the
something.
tracks on the album is called Nancy Drew. Like, come on. It writes itself, dude. It writes itself. But no. Anyway,
Scooby-Doo and the
now
Crew.
now I'm wishing I would have made a young rapper who's also a boy detective for this adventure you've had us going on Great Gatsby. Is it too late? Because I've got a scary character, a bit of a spooky little fella.
So it's not going to be like. I mean, it depends on how you guys play it, but it's not. It'll only be scary if you guys make it scary. I mean, it's as scary as like murder mystery is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those
It's
things
more
where I
like-
feel like murder mystery is one of the few genres where people are dying, where it's actually not like framed scarily. It's framed like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like,
boy.
everyone's too confused to be afraid.
That's just me.
People
That's
think
just
it's
me.
a part of like. It's like when someone like that like you go to a play and like a guy's on like a wire and he falls and you're like, is that a part of the show? Because he's been laying there for about 5 minutes and now the stagehands are kind of coming and the lights are coming up. Okay, I don't think that was a part of the play.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But they're gonna play like, oh no, that's totally. Oh, it's Sir Moneybags. That's his whole deal. He always throws crazy themed parties. This one's theme happens to be murder.
Murder. There was a murder in Savannah.
I do declare.
I declare
I may be but a
bankruptcy.
Southern elf. Oh, that's another character we could have done, like a
God.
Southern elf attorney.
Oh my God, yes.
I may come from
God.
the Feywild, but I do declare.
I do
Why are you
declare.
Southern? No one else in the Feywild has a Southern accent. I say. My father was a giant anthropomorphic chicken.
God, I love that. My
Have you
mother
heard of
was
the-
a tree.
Have you heard of the clan name Foghorn?
God, that's so
Or
good.
perhaps distant cousins, the Fudd clan.
Oh my
But that would
God.
be fun. I thought about doing something similar to that. Of how would we do, like, if there's an RPG that has like Toon Force vibes where you're like all slapstick rubber hosey kind of guys. I would love an RPG that was like that whole vibe, and it's like your stats are like 4 things, and it's like stretching, a silly.
That's a really
like,
interesting concept. Like, yeah, like if it was like a
you could probably, because I know there's like one like lasers and feelings where it's like 2 stats, lasers or feelings, and you're rolling with D6s, and that's the whole premise of that like tabletop. But respinning that as like goofy or like I don't what's the antithesis of like what's like the Looney Tune opposite of being like I'm dancing and turning a duck's neck into guitar versus like my head's big and steam's coming out of it and now I'm actually angry and I can roll up my
God,
that kind of kind of shit.
Yeah, like the Popeye, like
yes,
from Popeye
I'd
to
have to
Looney
do some,
Tune.
Yeah.
I'd have to do some work on it, but I've wanted to do that for a long time.
I feel like
really silly episode. Like that's the whole.
I feel like the opposite of the little like silly like spinny like twisty like thing is
the
just
hyperrealism.
No, look. The opposite of that is just any God, I cannot, my brain. The like really hyper realistic screams.
Yes.
Like the you're on fire and it's just like
or like they like zoom into like a guy's mouth who's got a cavity and you see like a mountain rage and a little guy he's like going through the cavity, like shit like that. Like I would love an entire it would be so much work for Tyler, and I would love him to pass the buck and let me put some dumb bonk sound effects in there for it. But I just want an entire episode that's just like bonkers. I think I would probably end up calling it like bonkers or something like that. Like, but the whole conceit is it's like we're not D&D anymore. We're a bunch of slapstick stuff, and maybe there's like a murder mystery, like almost like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of vibe. We're like, that would be even better. It's all cartoon, guys, and you guys are straight normal, like brought from another dimension, real people.
Oh my god! I think I just thought of a segment for us to play really quick.
It's
just
like an adventure. Hold on, before we get too far away from it, the premise could be like it's the isekai, except instead of summoning them because they have magical powers, they summon them because like there's a mime who put up an invisible wall and the toons can't get across.
Oh my god!
People are just like there's not a wall.
I'm not even joking, Tyler. You better cut a lot of this out because this is truly gold. I'm gonna set up that premise because that isekai vibe is like you all got hit by a car or died in some way and you woke up in Looney Tunes. Just that alone, and like
we all wake up in the Looney Tunes with the cartoon birds going around our heads.
Oh my god!
Yes, literally the tweet, but then you like realize those are real birds and they fly off after you're like fine.
Oh my god,
dude! I want to make like a slightly horrifying / like almost like a Call of Cthulhu where you're grappling with your sanity because like the longer you're there, the more you're like, I'm a cartoon too, dude.
Oh my god!
I'm seeing stuff I can't.
This is literally like just a crazy off the wall over the garden wall like spin-off. I love that.
Exactly right. Similar to that vibe. Yes, 100%. We need to, and I'm Tyler, I'll find you. I know your address. Cut around this as you can. But we are gonna, I think this is an emergency Wanderful world building episode where we build out this fucked up Looney Tunes world and then we roll a bone.
Wait, hold on. I actually want, if we're going to do that, one, because we're also short on time right now, I want us to shelve this to do it with
I'm
Tyler.
talking, we're shelving this talk right now, but I'm just saying for Tyler in the background, Tyler, you're not here, we're doing this. We're gonna come up with a fucked up, like Sesame Street meets like cartoons ass world that we
be there or
be
be
That's
square.
got like a terrible dark underbelly. I want to go from like fun, goofy, silly cartoony to like eldritch horror. You're alone in the dark and it's cold at a place before time, and you see like Elmo's face rise out of the shadows. Like something.
Oh my god! You get like the Teletubbies, like baby sun, like
dude. The sun is rising and it's a child's face, but like literally, and it's off in actual space, like shit like that. Like, anyway, TM. We don't have a title for it yet, but we're doing. This is happening. This has to happen. I love that idea.
Every time we cut the like audio, like every time Tyler cuts, I need him to like insert a soundbite of him like a chopping block, like.
Oh, I thought you were like how he did in that one video where it's like the swallow sound. It's just Tyler, yummy. You can't have those.
God. Oh my God. You saying that just reminded me of the fucking NPCs.
Dude, I know a topic we can actually talk about, though. Speaking of NPCs in the game and everything. Fucking you know what's coming up this time of year, boys and girls?
No.
Do you know?
No.
Do you know? You don't know?
Liquor.
Exactly. Matt kind of knows. I think Matt's picking up what I'm putting down. It's almost Rum Tum Tum, y'all.
Rum Tum Tum.
It's almost Rum Tum Tum, y'all. And it's not a spoiler to say that we've got a Rum Tum Tum themed episode probably coming your way. We don't know what Tyler's cooking up for it, but we know you can't.
It's going to be really. It's going to be so good.
I'm excited to see the
mark your calendars. Grab a 40 or maybe even make a
cinnamon.
hot spiced rum like we described in the show.
Yes.
And sit with your favorite gal, guy, or non-binary pal and sip on down and get real wasted and listen to us laugh at our own jokes for about an hour. Won't that be exciting for you and all of us?
Yep.
All right.
Or
Matt,
you could get real deep, and it's us just laughing. Like, it's us watching our own episodes laughing.
Yeah, it just gets
laughing.
It's me alone in the dark at 2 a.m. going, I love Wanderful. Like,
we're so funny.
these guys are great. Like,
oh my god.
If we did that, we'd double our viewers.
Oh god.
Good shit.
Oh,
I
okay,
love it.
Matt. Game.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
you said you had a...
Yes.
Yes.
So I have a concept for you guys. Does it tabletop RPG? What are things that you think would work well as an RPG, as a tabletop RPG game? So, for instance,
My stomach's
we
feeling
first
crazy.
tried back in Nashville. We tried the Pokemon tabletop RPG.
Yes.
And
I
we
wanna
had
go
a
back to
very
it.
bad time with it.
We did
No,
it.
that's 'cause we
did it
didn't
bad.
really
We did
understand.
But
it
that's
bad.
we did not understand. So
Yes.
like that would be a good example. So like that would be something like potentially, could be a good tabletop, could not be. What are other
because I've heard good
things?
things. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna
Go
say
ahead.
what are some other media sources that you feel like would be either a really good tabletop RPG or a really bad tabletop RPG?
I feel like for me, I'd love to go back to. I was talking to a friend of mine who also likes D&D back at my old job, and they were telling me, "Man, Pathfinder. Nobody talks about how good Pathfinder is." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Pathfinder literally has so many options for like creativity in terms of making your own characters and like building out a like actual like in-depth world. Like they don't like." This is exclusively a monster thing over here. You can't be that character. No, they're like, you want to be that? Make that character. Like, I remember I've only played one session of Pathfinder ever. I was a half giant druid that carried around a wild boar under his arm that was like a lapdog. That was his pet. I played a single session with that, and it was what my mind's eye saw for a character. And I feel like D&D doesn't give you...
Pathfinder is very good at letting you make exactly the character you want. The issue is that takes fucking hours.
Yes, it literally that and doing that in person, like it's almost like a job. Like it's like it's like you're setting up your resume. Like legit, like it will take you so long. You're going to be asking the DM and the players at the table who will know about your character before you even start playing the character. Hey, do you know how to do this? What source did you use to do this one specific section of my character? But yeah, I'd like to look into that.
Do you think a Yu-Gi-Oh tabletop RPG is possible?
Oh my god. So I thought about something like that where like not the premise of like Yu-Gi-Oh per se, but like taking like the bare bones of like a Yu-Gi-Oh or a Pokemon and like making a fake card game, and like your premise is like instead of your character being like the guy, your character and the spells are attributing your custom deck, and so like you're describing the card you're playing as the spell. Like, you know how people flavor spells in D&D and stuff like that. Like every card you would play is like a flavored thing from whatever the is.
I'd be surprised if there isn't already like a like
I think
a card dueling worlds RPG would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I just it strikes me as like a hard thing because like you're playing a game within a game framework. You know what I mean? That's the one thing, because you don't know how bad I've wanted to like do something with Digimon, man. Yeah, I'm not even joking with you guys. 100% serious. I've wanted.
That
to
was
make,
another
like,
one I was thinking.
Digimon RPG and like have it work, but I don't know if there's a source out there that I haven't looked too deep into.
Honestly, you could probably base it off a lot of the old like RPG like
Digimon my thought is
games,
though, because like. So the DM would have to play your Digimon, but you are in control of your Digimon, and the tamer is my thing. Like it kind of runs into that same thing of like some of the issues I had with the Pokemon one, where I was like, I don't really want a team of 6. I kind of just want to roll with this one dude, so I'm not having to keep track of like 6 NPCs plus myself.
Yeah,
you know,
makes sense.
I will say one that I feel like would be a lot of fun, but I'm really not sure exactly how it would do. I would love to do a Brave Little Toaster.
Oh wow,
dude!
A Brave Little Toaster RPG.
Oh my god!
In that same vein, I can't think of what it was called, but when I used to work at the Second and Charles, we had this book for a tabletop that's like your Mouse Knights.
And oh my god, I love that.
Like the mechanics are like similar to D&D, but like stuff like wind affects your character because of how tiny you are, so you get blown off of a tree branch and like have to account for those things.
I love that.
The dragons were like squirrels and crows. Like that's the big bosses and stuff. Like a barn owl is like an elder dragon type of thing for you. And your weapons are like a thimble shield and a little like twig. Like it's so cute. But you can go so many different ways. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Dropout at all. The guys from College Humor that do like the stuff like Brendan Lee Mulligan and all of them.
Oh yeah.
They just did a series on their channel where Abria Irongar was the DM, where they were all stoats. They were like little weasels. And like the premise of this whole thing was like weasels surviving like, so I don't know the full thing because I'm still watching through it, but like it seems like weasels surviving like a almost like extermination thing happening after like some kind of terrible thing, and like humans like cause some sort of either radiation or some sort of poison to like start killing and fucking up the forest. But they're like intelligent and they didn't get fucked up by this thing that these humans caused, and it actually gave them the powers of their classes within D&D. So like it's a stoat, but like now they have healing abilities when they lick you and stuff. Like it's cute, but it was super messed up and kind of like grim dark, because like the animals in the forest in their like little home are dying and stuff. And like I'm not spoiling too much, but like it's like in that vein of like Brave Little Toaster, where it's like it's not scary, but if I was a tiny toaster and someone, you know, like that would be scary to you.
That like old school like Fern Gully, like my god,
dude, where we're all
Fern
like
Gully
little fairies and we don't have like I love that premise a lot. I like stuff like that where you're like these small another one from that same company, the Dropout, not to keep talking about them, but they did Tiny Heist, I think it was, where like all of them were different little characters. Like one guy was literally a Lego man with split personalities, so he would change his Lego head and become another Lego character.
It's fun.
Oh my god,
it's so fun, like little imagination shit like that. I love stuff like that. But like I kind of in that same vein, what do you think the odds of us going? Like, I know we've gotten somewhat dark and Wanderful proper with certain things for sure. Don't get it twisted. But like, do you think in like, because like I've had to rethink a lot of my Road to Redemption stuff that I've been working on in the background before that even comes out, because that's nowhere near ready, y'all. So don't just because I mentioned it, I don't want anyone to think, oh, that's the next thing up after Wanderful's up. No, it's not yet.
No,
because like with things going on, I'm like I want to make things dark, but I also don't want to parallel too many real life things that are happening in our real world. You know what I mean? Like I want people to have a safe space to listen to D&D, but I also want to add a little I like horror, you know, spice. I like scary things. I like not hyper violent stuff, obviously, but you're using swords and killing monsters, you know. And so like what, oh my god, scared the shit out of me. What is like something you feel like you would establish as like a, do you think we could do something in that vein of like, would it be too, I don't know, I guess Tyler would have to be here too. I'd love to know his opinion on it. Do you think it would be too edgy to try to make something like specifically like dark?
I think we could. So probably our least watched episode, probably not, but in my opinion, the worst episode that we've ever done was my one shot for Halloween last year.
I think it's worse.
Oh my god. I feel like it was the worst because I was so tired at the end. I was like, well, you guys killed the witch.
That's becoming loopy, but that's on you. That's your perception of you trying to keep the ship floating.
But I tried to make that like super dark and like scary and like but I feel like we're so like just goofy with shit a lot of the times that it's hard to like stay in
Wanderful up until this point. You know that like we have to cut the scary and the serious with like a bit of I'd be a little boy.
Yeah, we have to scary movie like Scooby-Doo it, because I just don't think we're capable of doing anything else. I think
if it's established up front, right? Like if we're all like, okay, put on your serious boy pants. I think we could do it in that regard. And
but
like obviously there's still gonna be humor.
What's funny though is I feel like the scariest moments and the darkest moments in our show is when like we go into it not really expecting it to be dark. Like for example, the Halloween special that we just did that Tyler ran for us, or sorry, that Kyle it was
Yes.
Kyle, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the last one I did.
Yep. So
Are you
the
throwing
one
that
that
when
you
you-
ran, like it was set up to be really like funny. Like we were all like
Yes,
teenagers.
and that's kind of
Yeah.
how I like it though. Like I
Yeah.
like to do that stuff whenever I'm
Yeah.
doing like any sort
Yeah.
of like whenever I'm doing any sort of like
That's how I like to
scary sort of like scene where I'm like trying to set up something. Whenever I'm trying to set up something that's like
Tyler,
a
I
scary
need you to take
moment.
that sound,
Oh my
and that
God.
needs to be
I'm
like,
like,
that
okay,
needs to be our
let's get
cutting
'em-
sound from now on. Is
Oh my God.
Kyle's baby going. Bah, 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 bah.
That's how we
And
end.
that's our
That's
cut
how we end
sound.
every episode is with my baby going. Bah, bah, bah.
Anytime
It's
you gotta
the perfect
redact
cut.
anything in
I'm
our
still waiting
episodes.
to hear the episode where she was like a special guest as a wizard. That we, I forget the name we gave her.
Oh
We
my
gave her a wizard name
God.
to protect her identity.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
this is a wizard. What are you talking about? That was a spell
Yeah.
that was cast.
Oh
You
my
fools.
God.
But no, I like to do that where you like set up
Yeah.
things being silly and kind of leaning into
Yeah.
those moments, so you
Mhm.
guys aren't prepared. Like I can
Mhm.
do all the setup I want, but
Yeah.
I also want to make it. I also want to make it a space where it's like super like established from the top. It's gonna be a little spooky, so you're not
Yeah.
like sidewinded. Same with like when I kind of do my little preamble stuff when I do
Mhm.
any DMing.
Mhm.
I like to let people know off the top, hey, get ready. It's gonna be a sad
Yeah.
one. Like,
Mhm.
and I genuinely stand by that because like not like someone's gonna get triggered, but they could, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think more to the fact of like it's for you guys to be like, okay, Jokes just left the room because now this dude exploded and is crows forever. He died.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
crows.
Like I like when
Yeah.
y'all are immersed in your characters, but like it
Mhm.
takes a bit, and that's what the jokes and everything is like y'all
Mhm.
sort of
feeling out
like
characters,
playing a bit of yes and to find
Mhm.
the character as you're doing this stuff / like suspending your I don't know, I'm speaking for myself from my experience, like if especially with like a new character I don't quite have them right away, and so sometimes
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I'm looking for him, and then something will happen pivotal in any one of our
Mhm.
campaigns where I'm like, okay, and now I'm that guy. Kyle can't answer this because Kyle wants to say 1,000 things that don't exist in D&D, or like wants to do 1,000 things that don't work in this sort of scenario, but like my
Mhm.
character's in it, so I gotta get in
Right.
it with them.
hmm
What do you
That's
think about all
that. Honestly, that's one of like my like biggest things. I'm so jealous of you, Kyle. You're so like easily able to get into a character. I feel like I know
I-
it takes you some time to like feel them out,
I don't know
but
what
once
it
you're
is
locked
about me,
into
but
that
from-
character, but like you're just like boom, you were
I love
you were
that
like
shit,
that
though.
character.
I've done that my whole life. I was that kid
Mhm.
to just like the second I watch any piece of media, I've got to start
Mhm.
making my OC. I'm not even joking
Mhm.
with you. Sonic OCs were a thing. I made a bunch of Sonic OCs. Me and my cousin, when we were like
Yes.
10, made a Sonic card game with like a Sonic character creator and like printed it out on the back
God,
of like
yes.
cereal boxes and stuff. But like, I love embodying like a weird like or playing within like a space like D&D or Pathfinder or something like that, where it's like they've given me kind of the mechanics of what I'm supposed to do here with this stuff, but I'm gonna ignore the words they wrote that don't mean anything to the dice and start putting
Right.
my own vibes into it, and that helps me get into a character more. Like the more constraints I have, the less fun I'm having in that
Mhm.
way of like I saw a AMA thing I think I sent to you guys, the Am I the Asshole thing, where this
Mhm.
guy was like, he had flavored all his text to be like a witch doctor or a plague doctor kind of guy, and he had like a big needle for his cure wounds, and his
Yeah.
DM was like, okay, well, if you roll low on this, now the cure wound spell that exists in D&D doesn't do what it says because you want to use a dumb needle. Instead of letting
Yeah.
this guy have fun and have imagination,
Yeah.
now he's making the dude like rethink his whole playing
Yeah.
with this guy, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to play something or do something where it's like, I'm taking away your whole thing you had for your guy. Like
Mhm.
Jeremy's like, yeah, my guy got kicked out because he got in a fight with a kid. I was like, I don't know how to dance around two children fighting in a high school, but we'll just say that it already happened, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna take that away
Yeah.
from you in that
Yeah.
way, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true about your character. You told me that was true. So we're running with it. However,
Uh-huh.
the bully you did get beat up by, I have complete control over him. So his name's
Yeah.
Danny Buttons. And that's like
Danny
such a
Buttons.
goober
Yeah.
name to have been bullied or beat up by. Like,
God.
it adds a little salt to the wound,
Yeah.
and it kind of makes Jeremy think as Billy, like, I really do hate this guy because I got beat up
He
by
really
Danny
pushes my.
Buttons.
Buttons.
God,
My
like,
buttons.
and it's like small little jabs like that where I'll play into the goofiness until it. Is that dice in your mouth?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Please don't put
Oh
D20s in your mouth.
god.
Thank you.
What a heart
Oh,
attack.
my God.
Oh.
But
Jesus
yeah, I don't know. It's just
Christ.
one of those things where like I don't think it's like your place as a DM to like tell somebody play the game how I want you to play it and really be immersed. Like if you're not feeling that character or you don't feel the story being told, that's a whole different ballgame. We can work on that. But like I like that y'all naturally after a while find I almost get inspired by some of y'all's because y'all will come right out of the gate and have a voice. I've never done that with anyone, including Bond. I didn't have his voice until like 20 episodes of Wanderful.
Yeah.
Like I don't
I
know.
have an Alandi voice every time I can remember it.
That's what I'm saying. But like it makes me want to like put that little extra, I'm doing more than just like playing D&D with my friends. We're having like a moment of like and now we're doing a bit of improv / acting because we're putting it on recorded medium. As much as we're not, we're not a famous voice actor here or actor. It's like it adds to it because it's like you embodying that character. Someone's gonna see that and be like, "Oh, I want to invite him to my D&D show." Or I want to. Sorry, she's tangled in my head.
No, she's beautiful and perfect.
But it's like, I want to invite him to my show, or I want to promote his stuff. I think it's a little bit of. We all have gotten to a point now, and Tyler mentions it almost every end of every episode in our group chat, where it's like, I feel so open and welcome to do whatever the fuck I'm gonna do at the table with you guys. So I've never not like if I have a weird idea for a character, I'm telling one of you about it and it's gonna happen eventually. Or I'm sneaking it in as like a little NPC like, hey, you remember when I made that joke a long time ago? Or you remember when I did this little thing? Like I think we could do a darker D&D something, but I don't know. Audience perception. I think we would fucking kill it. If I'm being honest, it might be braggadocious or weird, but I think we could make something that could be truly like a kind of dramatic like thing because of what we've had with like Wanderful itself. Like as much as it's like silly and like we make up stuff and it's goofy, like I re-listen to that Tavern one where we're world building all the time because it's like yes, it's like our characters are there, whatever, but it's like our moment to shine and make this like thing of like we're both juggling playing the character in that scene while also using our brain in such a creative way that like Tyler will absolutely give us a payoff for later on. The fucking hoverbox thing, it still gives me like goosebumps that I just like had that floating city comment just nonchalant and I could feel Tyler knowing now, but like him being like, damn, they fucking called it like episode 7 or whatever.
Like I need us to have at least one episode that's about the cult of Coombe. That's what I need.
I know, dude. Dude, I don't want to say anything, and I'm not putting any pressure on Tyler. And Tyler obviously has a story written of like what he's going to do.
It better involve Coombe.
I want the tide to somehow be tied. Like they're like. We find out it's like what's that a pyramid scheme? The tide is at the like bottom of this grander pyramid that leads to Coombe.
The tide Coombe's in, Kyle.
The tide Coombe's in, hey baby, Cooming down to the river. Oh God! No, there's so much like as much as you like said, oh, it's probably one of our worst episodes. Legitimately, you did some creative stuff that like. Not everybody has such a specific sort of like brand of approaching the tabletop sort of like stuff we do that like I've picked up so much from just character playing with you guys that I've added to like things we've done or like a thing in passing that you mentioned that you read somewhere. I'm like, I'm gonna look more into that. Or you literally sent me a TikTok. Oh, that's an NPC now. Like that whole TikTok just created an NPC or a village. God. Like. I feel like that you're selling yourself short, sir, by saying, "Oh, nobody does." People are probably like, "I think I gotta let Matt DM more." That fucking episode is so cool.
Well, speaking of Matt DM, I don't remember if I've actually said this.
Dominatrix now.
I am a dominatrix.
The same word as Kiwi.
No, it's
Coombe.
Flugelmeister.
Flugelmeister.
I just came up with that. No, so I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast yet, but about like 2 or 3 months ago, I bought the Avatar: The Last Airbender tabletop game. Yeah. And I want to run one for us. I just have to learn the system. Cool. And I was thinking about doing like a festival episode. So
that'd be cool.
I really want to do like a God. I just keep going back to like the it's like whenever they first go into the fucking Fire Nation. And Aang's like, oh, Flame Yo Hot, man. Like, I feel like I just want a bunch of people like going around saying dumb like Fire Nation shit. Like, like you got your fire snaps,
dude. I think about stuff like that so much, where that whole thing is clearly like a reference to Avatar, that little moment, but it's like it doesn't feel like I'm just ripping that thing, right? Like I'm taking a bite out of what they're doing. Like I basically have like I've told you this before, but I have like the full outline of kind of what I'm setting up for my Road to Redemption stuff. But I'm having to rework things because of like I'm being more sensitive to some things that are happening. You know, there's a lot going on, and I wanted to do like a what if there was potential talks of like a war. Not doing that. Not doing that anymore. That's not happening. I don't want to play like that. And like I found a way to make it organically still fit to the themes and stuff that I had. But like obviously, you know, read the room a bit. You know, you don't want to like take this opportunity to do something a bit like insensitive or whatever. But like at the same time, I've still like I want there to be the weight and sort of tension of that, because like time has passed, like the world is still happening whether or not you guys are playing in it at the moment, and I kind of want to keep it alive in that way, and just like having to retool things in a way that's like you're still keeping sort of the energy of like an idea you had or like kind of like inspirations, but like trying to also like there's some bonkers shit that like I want to do, because like I do it all the time, and like with your DM thing, kind of going back to us talking about yours being good, you're the only other DM who plays in the anime space with me, Matt. You're the only other DM that plays in the anime space with me. You will set up a scene that feels like, oh, that could have been in Naruto, and I would absolutely believe that. Replace all our characters like Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. That's just an episode. Like maybe a like you know filler canon, whatever. But like it's so fun to have these moments of like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of like tabletop, when you're like doing it person to person, is like transactional in that like battle, get to the thing you have to tell us. Battle, get to the questions. Battle.
No, you're thinking of Mario? That was the Mario sound.
Battle.
Battle.
That's good shit. But no, like I don't want it to feel like there's no reason to talk, or there's no reason to have like side stuff, because like I'm building a D100 encounter system for the next go around. Like the last time I kind of pulled one from the internet that was like a cave encounters thing, but like I'm actually going through and changing up stuff and having things that are like not, you know, inconsequential, but stuff that's like it's gonna bake. Like you did that thing, you rolled that number, and like you may have had a small interaction, but that's not happening until like Act 2, Act 3. You know, those seeds aren't ready yet. But I like. I don't know. I like the idea of doing sort of another, not world building episode of the same game, but like us getting together and like doing that like big collaborative sort of like set up something, and kind of making like, I don't know when we would have time to do it, but like setting up something where it's like a pass the ball world, where like we all had our hands in this, and we all do one-offs within the same world, building on the lore that way. Like we set up maybe the world building shit behind the scenes, and like every so often somebody comes into that world and does a little thing, because like there's like references I have to Tyler's Wanderful stuff that I'm cooking in like the thing, and like I have the Merc Monks as a creature that's like a weird like tie-in between the two places. But like I want to do something where it's more like kind of how we did with the Pokemon one, where we were going to before we stopped it when we were playing in real life, where like me and you, Jeremy, were swapping off for each town they got to. And so like, I made a town, you made a town, We would have a gym leader and like a whole theme for it. I'd love something like that where we already have established sort of rules, but maybe we don't do D&D this time around. You know, maybe we do some system that we all learn together. Tyler talked about wanting to do Space Kings, which is like a card system where you're flipping cards and that's kind of deciding the stuff, and it's more
I love that.
And I love that where it's like you kind of can world build as you go because of how free it kind of lets you be with stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry if I that just got me
totally
on this.
good.
No,
yeah. How dare you talk during the podcast?
No. I just I don't want it to be like the Kyle hour when I get like excited by some question because y'all are asking really good like questions that lead into sort of feeling like I don't know.
Now I will say something I was thinking about earlier because I'm wondering, is it possible to do a Mario-esque thing without just straight up being Mario?
The Mario
you know
RPG?
what I mean?
Oh my god.
Well, how could you make a tabletop feel like Mario without being Mario? You know what I mean?
I mean,
you could do more of like, I was gonna say you could do more of like more of the 3D world game. So like base it more along the lines of like maybe
hold on.
Like a Super Mario Sunshine where it's got like a little bit more.
Jumping into the paintings. Each painting can be a dungeon, and like you can set up the dungeon puzzles as platforms. Like that absolutely could work. I think that would be super possible.
Well, the thing that Matt said just now that actually has me extremely. What if you did an RPG? But where the premise was, it is a 2D world.
I love that.
Wait, that cool.
Actually seems like a lot of fun, right?
And
it's just like
if
it's
you
a
played
2D
it in
world.
something like D&D where there's like plane shifting, there's like a moment where you go 3D and like it's horrifying because you've not seen anything in that moment. You know, dude, you could really go far with that. You could get really sciencey and like fuck with like time travel and wormholes and shit. Just because we're like 2D. I want to be a child scribble drawing. You already know whatever this is. My character's just a weird scribble drawing of a father. Like
you're like a doodle bob.
Yeah, but like ever shifting like scribble of like just like whatever like child messy painting. But that's the whole premise of my. See, this is the stuff I'm talking about. Like, I think we just need. I don't know if you have anything out there, humble listener, like a tabletop, like, or even world building resources for us to set up something. Put it in the fucking
bag.
Put it in the
Wizards
bag.
with guns.
Put it in.
That's already a game, and it's a good game.
Because I feel like with some of the stuff we already talked about with the Looney Tunes things and all the stuff we cut out that Tyler better have cut out, we could kind of come together with these ideas and make a very fun world. I could see this being in like, who's to say this isn't all in like the same vibe, like the Pass the Rock thing? Like it's 2D in your world, but like Matt does it, and now it's a 3D version of the same thing, but there's like a weird interaction between those two planes in some regard, or like there's so much space to sort of go ahead.
Sorry, finish your thought.
No, I was just saying there's so much space to be creative is what I was going to say.
Something that I would probably need to watch a lot more, but I think the only kind of like, because you were talking about earlier how like you and Matt are the only two that like really will lean into like the anime style.
No, you had some stuff that you've talked to me outside of the podcast about.
Yeah, the thing I was going to say is one thing I have thought about, and I've been thinking about it since, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, for one of the Rum Tum Tums. We did the sports. We did Spoon Egg.
Yes.
And I thought about what if we ran a game that was like an anime sports drama game.
God, yes.
That would be so.
Yes.
But it made me like want to go back and like rewatch some of them.
Dude.
Because
I feel
like I haven't seen enough to do that really well.
The first one that comes to mind for me, Air Gear. Immediately came to mind. Just roller skate battling, like teens with like powered roller skates called Air Gear. Like That's
well,
such
the thing that came to me-
Beyblade. That's also another premise.
yes, Beyblade's
Beyblade.
a good one.
Can we make Beyblade the RPG game?
I will say, I know it's not technically a sport, but Food Wars came to my mind.
Yes,
God,
dude, shit like that.
yes.
Like, so, like, there was that old one. Matt knows a lot of 4Kids stuff. Do you remember fighting foodons?
That sounds so familiar.
It was like
Let me
the
look.
kids would make
Hold on.
food, and they would put one of these like dual monster looking ass cards on the food, and it would become a like Pokemon ass monster man, and they'd fight each other.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna look it
It's
up real
so
quick.
insane. It's
Oh wait, I'm
Okay,
sorry. No,
yes.
you're thinking of VeggieTales.
No.
and that was Jesus Christ.
so
This looks vaguely familiar.
We can't keep Matt held up because like you joke about that. I thought about like a world that's like the end of times, God is dead, and we're like all the VeggieTales like roaming the desert
Yes.
trying to find like the last vestiges to stop the apocalypse.
VeggieTales during Revelation.
During the rapture, yes.
Yeah, during the
Yeah.
rapture.
And like the
VeggieTales
beast is
during
there,
the
but the beast is
rapture.
like,
God.
they kind of vaguely did that without doing that on something I saw where
have
like
they?
this cult was like, it was like food people, but the cult worshipped this thing they didn't know how to pronounce, and it turned out to be a garbage disposal. And I was like, oh my fucking God, that's so hilarious. That's like a perfect like
Yes.
premise to like have these guys think that there's like an afterlife when really they're getting flushed down like a sink or something. It's so we could go on about this, but if
God.
someone out there wants to take that premise, I'll let Tyler leave that one in. Mad Max style, like Revelations, veggies.
VeggieTales. God.
Weird. The Tavern Talks that came out last week was 5 minutes long, and it was all out of context.
Yeah, everything they said was just so good. Tyler just cut it up. It was just
Yeah, it was just a bunch of baby laughing noises.
yeah, it was just like 3 minutes of my baby
Bah, bah,
laughing
bah,
and eating
bah,
a dice.
Bah,
And
bah,
then
bah.
us introducing our names and then the podcast.
Oh my
But
God.
no, I feel like because we've had such a break, we're like all itching to get back into like
Mhm.
the creative space of playing our characters. But I think us doing this kind of stuff and having like the little tavern talks separate from like that gives us time to be like, we're gonna approach the big boss. Not that he's like the big boss. We're gonna approach Tyler with something that's overly complicated and a lot of work.
God.
Oh,
But
that's
come
another
to you
one that could
today.
be fun as a mafia game.
Yeah, dude.
God.
I thought about that. I think I mentioned that to Tyler, like where we roll character sheets that are like normal
Mhm.
guys, and like that's the whole.
Mhm.
You're like normal dudes in the real world, and then suddenly magic happens, but you don't have the powers per se.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
kind of are still learning, kind of like the isekai vibe, I guess. But like
Mhm.
instead of it being you went to that world, the world collided with our real world, and
Mhm.
like these normal dudes suddenly are like, now you're a barbarian. You figure out what that means, and you also have a 9 to 5. Like like
I feel. That's reminding me of
Supernatural. Any show that's like
God.
Supernatural.
No. It was a cartoon. I feel like it wasn't on for very long, but it was like a weird combination of
That sort of
very
energy.
weird real world, but like also one of the main characters
Dude, there's
was
so
an
many
old
stuff because
wizard
like
man.
my immediate thought was American Dragon from Disney.
Yes.
That straight up is that premise. He lives in New York City,
Yeah.
and he turns into a dragon
New
once he
York
turns 14
City.
because his bloodline.
I mean, you
is
can
dragon
get even
people.
more. There's also Jackie Chan,
Mm-hmm.
which
Where they're just
literally-
normal dudes, but there's rocks that do
Yeah.
cool stuff, and like
Oh
one
my
real
God,
dragon. Did you
yes.
notice that? It's like all like a gang of people and like a grandpa who knows like ancient stuff from back in the day, and then this one real for real dragon. The only real mythical thing that happened in there was like, I've been sealed away in this statue. You don't understand. I'm a real dragon. Please free me. And the guy's like, sure. I don't know what that means, but why not? Free's a real dragon in New York again. Why is New York always getting attacked by dragons? There's the gargoyles. They have the Ninja Turtles. New York
Oh
is
my
a wild
God.
place, dude. Batman's there.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh,
But no,
fuck.
I think we're onto something in that vein of like anime / like
Mm-hmm.
cartoon universe meets like a tabletop sort of grimdark setting. There's something there. We got to do research independently, come back with what we found that we think fits the sort of theme. We forge like Hephaestus and his nasty legs, a world that we can pass like a volleyball to each other, and kind of everyone's kind of got to say, maybe it's like a chain of islands, and each of the islands is themed after our own special little whatever, or maybe I don't know, like I liked I like the collaboration of the Road to Redemption stuff because Road to Redemption wouldn't exist without you boys. Road to Redemption would not. I had Booglin. That's it.
Yeah.
Booglin, and people gotta go underground. End of what I had.
Underground.
Like I'm going back and listening to that too as I like take notes and make more stuff. And I'm like, dude, there's a few threads that I kind of left in the air that aren't maybe gonna have the greatest payoff, or there's some that I'm like, this is all I've been waiting to do is make them remember this one thing they did.
Listen, just don't make it purgatory. Okay, that's all I ask.
No, that's not. We do it so much when we talk about this, man. It's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I genuinely, because like I was super heavy into like the Matt stuff towards the end with his character and Bagan. I went through. I have NPCs for you to meet that aren't anything to do with your family. I've got deep lore for your backstory. I've got family beef for you. Tyler, I've got like duality of man and living armor shit going. I've got like I've got dream sequences for some of you. I've got some stuff cooked up, dude. When I tell you, Road to Redemption was like out the door before our real life, real world started going to actual real life, like D&D horrible places.
Yeah, it went fine.
And I was like, I had it cooked up and I chopped a lot of those pieces out and there's still bones there. Like there's still bones to build off of. And I'm like, this is going to a place like you could probably guess a bit of where the next sort of thing after this stuff that'll be coming up. Not this. You won't be able to guess what's going on with this other than like the few through lines with like Matt's backstory and your backstory and Tyler's. The next thing after this has a bit to do with what we'll be doing, but you should know where the final and I'm calling that now. The last big Road to Redemption thing after the one I'm currently working on will be the final Road to Redemption stuff. That where it ends will maybe lead into something that's still tied to that realm and that story, but it's no longer going to be Road to Redemption. We will be either redeemed or, we'll see it on the other side. But you can kind of, through some of the stuff, kind of guess where things might be headed. I had to change some stuff up, obviously, and like retweak stuff. But I'm such a space of like creativity right now, especially with like this whole conversation and shit. Like I'm ready to do like Wanderful. I'm ready to see what you guys have cooked up with like the one-shot thing. And I don't know. This is probably my favorite Taverns talks we've done so far because like you know how I get.
We didn't bring up fries a single time.
Oh well, fuck.
Quick, who wants to fuck Lightning McQueen?
God. Man, that rat though, Ratatouille.
Ratatouille, more like what's the Ratatouille from Have You Seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Oh my god,
Ratatouille, dude.
Ratatouille.
Oh my god.
That sounds like something. That sounds like a word I cannot say.
It does when you think about it. It does, but no, anyone can cook. A nasty little trash panda, get him on under my hat. That's a whole universe of people who have raccoons that are helping them do basic jobs.
Oh my god,
that's not too much of a spoiler. Watch that movie; it's a good movie.
Ratatouille, it won all the awards. Canon RPG.
The Everything Everywhere All at Once RPG would never end. That's the point of that. There'd be one episode of that where we're just rocks. You better spoilers for that movie. I don't care. Tyler's not here to tell me not to say anything.
Tyler, edit that out.
Bagels.
French fries.
Anyway.
No!
And no, he's just going to replace everything I'm saying about this with Matt going French fries.
French fries. Let me get them French fries.
But yeah, speaking of that one-off thing though, Jeremy, do you want to give a quick, beyond the premise of being kind of Great Gatsby, do you have something you'd like to drop before because we're getting close to Matt's time to dip?
You wake up with a flicker of sun in your eye going through the leaves. And as you kind of assess, it looks like it's maybe midday. You got to have quite the nap. You realize there's a strange envelope on your chest addressed to you. And then, in a back alley, deep within the city in the middle of night, a shadowy figure stands over a bloody pile. And as they search through his pockets, they see an invitation with his name on it. A small grin appears on their face. And
Actually,
they disappear.
no, the face is not seen. There is a permanent rictus grin on a mask over the character's face.
Jesus.
And two slits obviously carved out with a knife of a white wooden mask. And
terrifying.
The only thing that they hear as the character looks away from the letter is the jingling of tiny bells on his jester-like hat.
Oh my fuck. No.
Perfect. I like that. It wasn't great, but you've been invited to a party.
It's like mime clapping and you just hear jingling. You will notice with this character, and I'm just putting this out there right now before we start the recording, Kyle will be describing the things he does and how he communicates. This character does not talk.
Yeah.
We got a classic
what was
it, Bolt? Thunderbolt or whatever.
Yeah, like Magic Bolt or some kind
Black
of
Bolt
nonsense.
or
Black
what was
Bolt.
it?
I don't
The
remember.
Bolt?
Black Noir.
No. We're talking about the dumb Alandi thing.
Jeremy's Alandi character.
Oh, yes. No, I'm think like a haunted vaudevillian comedian.
Oh my god.
That's this character. Like
horrifying.
Not the Joker, like Charlie Chaplin with something's wrong.
I'm just gonna tell you that is gonna be that's gonna put you in an interesting position in the murder mystery themed thing.
No.
Like, well, he fucking
has ways around it, obviously, but like
bye.
So sad that Tyler died of the flu. Luckily our necromancers are working on bringing him back. It'll probably only be a week or two. For now, you can enjoy the first episode of Jeremy's new Story Bazaar, Magic Manor. Tune in next week for episode 1. I hated listening to them talk shit about my lord and savior Tyler. I know I'm a robot, but I love that chubby sack of flesh.